Thanks so much for joining us today on the WRST podcast. I'm joined by Jalin Thomas and Kuntal Shah. So glad you guys could be here today.
It's a pleasure.
We're excited to do a spotlight on the ETVerse NFT project this afternoon upstairs in the gallery. But before we get to that, let's learn a little bit more about you guys. Jalin, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, I am Jalin Thomas. I am 26 years old. Next month, July, I turn 27. I'd like to just throw that in there.
Happy birthday.
But I am currently in Atlanta, Georgia, where I am using my advertising degree to the maximum potential, just trying to be as creative as possible. And people like Kuntal and Carter and Katana Capital, Nate, everybody out there believes in me. So that's where I'm headed towards now, is just entering this Web3 space, which I'm super excited about and have been with. It's crazy to say 8 months now. It just seemed like the other day I just went to the office for the first time, but it's been like 8 months, almost a year now. So I'm really excited about this space, to say the least.
That's fantastic. 8 months, you're essentially an expert at this.
I don't know. I still got a lot to learn.
That's awesome. Jalin, thanks so much for joining us. And Kuntal, what's your story? Tell us about you.
Yeah, so, I come from a consulting background and then worked a lot in analytics in the advertising industry for the past 15 years, and got into crypto with Bitcoin kind of like 2013, just dabbled, and then 2017 kind of got more deeply involved with the whole decentralization. Kind of quit my job about a year ago and started Katana Capital with my partner Carter Glass, really to help brands and individuals transition to Web3. So whether that's through DAOs, through NFTs, through Metaverse, really just helping people understand this landscape and really migrate. And I think, in the traditional advertising industry, people didn't really get it. And I think they're slowly coming around to Web3, but I think, you almost need specific Web3 agencies to really help brands navigate the space, because it changes so often. And you need people who are crypto native to really help these brands and individuals transition there, so that's kind of really what I've been working on, for the last year about. And, ETVerse, Eric Thomas was our first client, and, we're getting ready to launch the project. It's been about, as Jalin said, about 8 months. We've been, really laying the groundwork, making sure we do it right. Didn't want to rush anything. It's still a very new space to a lot of people. So, we're being very careful, and, working with you guys at Wursta. That's been a pleasure. Having your expertise as well help us, navigate the space where, I think, as Jalin said, even though I've been in the space for so long, even I don't consider myself an expert either, because I think, there's very few experts in the space besides maybe Satoshi and Vitalik.
That's right. Yes. I totally appreciate your point about, needing folks who are crypto native and understand Web3 to navigate, right? It's a scary, wild new world out there. Jalin, son of Eric Thomas, man, how lucky are you?
Hey, some say luck, but having somebody in your corner like that on a day-to-day basis, it brings the most out of you, to say the least. But definitely throughout my years, I can't say outreach has been one thing that we've always cared about. I seen my dad give his shirt off his back to people, even shoes. So now that this space is opening up even more opportunities for outreach is exciting, but definitely would not be here if it was not for my dad. He sacrificed a lot for me and my family, so it's only right to capitalize on that and try to advance for the next level. So that is how it is to be in his son, always trying to get 1% better, and just always making sure that I think for the future. So that's a lot of things in a little nutshell that I love about my dad, and when people ask me that question, that's the first things that come about. But yeah.
1% better every day. That's fantastic. And I know Eric has influenced so many people
absolutely
to be better and do better.
Growing up, it was kind of weird when he was first taking off, how some idols of mine shout him out and reach out to him and have relationships, and I was just man, maybe he isn't so bad. So it was definitely cool as a kid just to kind of grow up and see wow, the people who I at the time idolized, went to him kind of for some sparks. So I was just like, wow, that really opened my eyes, and I never really told him that. So if he's watching this, hopefully he knows who I'm talking about. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. He must be so proud of you.
I don't know. I got a lot of room to grow. But definitely, I'm sure he is proud of a lot of things to get into in this world. And so, for him to know that I'm still trying to keep this torch with the outreach thing going, I'm sure he is glad. But more than anything, like my mom, I just want to make sure she's straight.
Yeah, of course. So tell us about ETVerse. How did the idea come about? What made you and your dad want to launch this initiative?
Well, definitely this would not be about if it wasn't for Carter Glass, who introduced me to this whole Web3 world. I had no idea. He called me and really believed in me and said that, this could be a really good opportunity, because before we even met with this, he actually helped with my camp, donate money to the camp to help the kids, as it just related to like the shirts and things of that nature, equipment. So he's always been about outreach as well. And so he came to me saying we can really flush this out in terms of making it thorough, and also just because of the tech world, how we can take some of those things and use it to our advantage as it relates to outreach. So of course, somebody that I trust, so I was like, let's do it. And so we're here now talking about the ETVerse, which is really crazy to think about, because we're literally in a space like this with just three other people, and just kind of brainstorming on the board. But now to see it to bounce to this is crazy.
Yeah, that's how all great ideas start, right? On the whiteboard. Kuntal, you're Carter's partner, right? You guys went into this together. What was it about Eric and Jalin that inspired you?
So to be honest, I wasn't very familiar with Eric until I met him in person in Atlanta. So we went down there. I met Jalin before Eric, and kind of got acclimated to the world of Eric Thomas. My Carter, my partner, had been a big fan and had become friendly with the family over the years. But what really inspired me was seeing his community in person. I'm a big proponent of kind of creator coins and communities kind of accruing value to their members instead of kind of a top-down approach using Web3 and crypto. And it seemed like just the perfect opportunity with his community. And then their whole mission about giving back really ties into something I'm passionate about in terms of financial literacy. So with the ETVerse project, it's always been about giving back to the community, educating the community, and then bridging the digital divide, because I think that's something we saw that with I think Web 1.0 and then even Web 2.0, underprivileged communities didn't necessarily get the access, didn't learn how to code, didn't have access to the internet, didn't have access to high-speed internet, and it just kind of exacerbated, existing inequalities. I think with Web3, we want to really make sure that doesn't exist anymore. So, Eric's got a great foundation called the School Days Foundation, and, all the money that's going to be, raised from the NFT drop is going to the School Days Foundation or to the artists. And I think there's a great story with NFTs. What the thing that really got me super excited about NFTs early on was how it really empowers artists and creators to monetize their work in ways that wasn't possible. I think there's a podcast with the founders of Nifty Gateway I listened to probably 2 years ago now, and they talked about that, and that's kind of really what clicked in my head of okay, this is how revolutionary NFTs are going to be for creators. And I think that's really one of the main missions of ETVerse, and that's why we've got these 9 amazing artists who are part of the Genesis collection. We're really showcasing the power that Web3 has to really allow creators to monetize their work, and and then giving back to the community to make sure that a broad swath of people get access to the tools necessary so that they can have that same opportunity.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Really great. Giving back both through the School Days Foundation and to these 9 artists. I'd love to talk about both. Maybe tell me a little bit more about the School Days Foundation. What's the mission? What are you guys out to do? So
School Days started a while back. Since I could remember, it was a different name, but now it's School Days. And basically what we're all about is getting resources that are not easily accessible and bringing them back to the kids and exposing them. So for instance, this last year we did something really cool where we told kids, we gave them a roadmap of basically things that they needed to do in order to go to the Super Bowl, as it relates to even go to a neighborhood library, check out a book, just those little things that have been lost that are like needed to go to the next level. Obviously a certain grade point average, no trouble with the school, things of that nature, and we end up getting 20 kids from 5 different schools in the Michigan area and also one Chicago school. But it was really amazing just to see the kids' faces. Like, they were excited about the little things, like being in a bed, like the flights. There was a kid telling me like that was his first time flying, how like of a thrill he was laughing the whole time when like the turbulence would kind of like shake. And I was like thinking like, man, I thought it was just a Super Bowl, but you don't realize like the things that added up to the Super Bowl of just like the little things that we take for granted. So just exposing them. And again, Michigan is kind of cold, no palm trees, so like they got a chance to really like breathe new fresh air, which is like great. And it's not something that happens every day, unfortunately. So to see the looks on their faces in the Super Bowl, they could care less who won. They were just all on their phones, just like soaking in the moment. So that's what it's all about, is making moments for them so that they can continue this torch, because I'm sure they got inspired so like the people below them, the younger audience, could like experience what they experienced. So just putting that taste in that mouth so that they can just do better in life. That's basically what School Days is all about.
Man, that's fantastic. What a huge event. Not only first flight away from home in a hotel, but the Super Bowl. It
was really nice.
Incredible.
The parents, thanks for trusting the kids, but it was great. I'll do it again for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me a little bit about the artists. 9 different artists contributing to the collection. That's a ton of folks to collaborate with.
Yeah.
How did
actually
that come
10.
about?
10.
Right, 10 total, right?
Yeah.
It's great. I would like to start by saying like, this whole space, I didn't really know a lot of the artists. Kuntal and Nate and Carter again kind of introduced a lot of artists and kind of asked me, you think this will work or that will work, and then from there it kind of just built on to a whole team. And it just was amazing because I see art, but to see the different styles, and then my favorite is like the 3D like kind of aspect. So like to have like those kind of individuals in our caliber is like, not only is this like our first time, but we're like painting the actual picture that we want, and it's just amazing. And every artist is really cool. Like, and I'm not just saying that just to like, say it, but every artist literally has their own taste, which is like crazy to kind of bring 10 people and nobody really like is similar is like not that easy to do. And I just really think this research on Katana like really to help with the artists, because again, a lot of them came from their area, Chicago. So like the root of it is basically kind of like the Midwest Chicago energy, and so from there like we have a sprinkle of other artists, but definitely the foundation is Chicago, which is crazy because that's where my dad is from, his roots. And generational things that have gone through our family, Chicago based. So just everything kind of coming on, and then even some of the artists knowing who my dad is and then like saying how he helped them in their life is just like just a perfect story, like organically. And it's just like what you always want to ask for, but like we worked hard literally the day in, day out, and just to see the fruit of that is just like, man, it's really amazing. And so for seeing this fruit, I can't wait to see the fruit that the kids are going to be able to eat down the line with this.
Yeah, man, full circle.
Absolutely, but I'm sure I left some things.
No, I mean, I think what you said, there's some amazing stories, like just random people we would talk to, a couple of the artists, literally were in tears when we, mentioned that we were doing this project with Eric Thomas, because they're like, he saved my life. We talked to some other folks, from the finance world who, we, are trying to build into, the ETVerse community, coming from, the entrepreneur side. There's, this and these are folks from all different stripes, and they're all like, said like, ET changed my life. I mean, even Matt, I think the first call we had with him, he mentioned how, how important ET was kind of at one point in his life. So it's been really like, very powerful to like, see that impact that he's made on people. And I think with, with the artists, it's definitely, I would say, not easy working with, artists at times, but I think we've done pretty well with the artists we've been working with, and we've kind of really given them creative freedom, within like the broad theme of like, ET's message. You kind of, take your interpretation, and Jalin's been great kind of working with them more, on a, not day to day, but, checking in, just kind of providing slight feedback. But, we really wanted the artists to have kind of free reign for the most part, let their creativity be expressed however they felt was best. So, we're very excited to, we've done a few sneak peeks, but, we'll have, I think, all the art done hopefully in a week or so, and then we'll be very excited to share that with the world, and then release them as NFTs, and very excited about that. And I think that's just like Jalin said, like that's just a start. I think part of the project, we're the initial community we're going to do, it's called the Creators Collective. So the Genesis collection, there's going to be 300 NFTs that are part of it, and this will really form like the core group of the ETVerse, which will be the Creators Collective. And we're putting together a network of entrepreneurs, humanitarians, artists, athletes, people from all walks of life, whether it's motivational related, Web3, really trying to get a good mix of people together, to really power this ETVerse community. And our hashtag is Inspire the Block. So ET is obviously all about inspiration. We want to inspire folks to really take advantage of this opportunity that is Web3. And we don't want to look back in 5 years and people say like, oh, this was only for rich kids in Silicon Valley and crypto bros, and the wealth from Web3 didn't trickle down to everyone. Like we're still at the ground floor, and it's accessible to everyone. I think these days the barriers have gone down significantly, and we really want to help people take advantage of that.
Yeah, definitely. You're certainly paying it forward, right? Giving all the profits back. Only 300 pieces in the initial Genesis collection. That's very, very exciting. What's the roadmap look like?
Yeah, so the roadmap, we're going to be dropping the Genesis collection. We're finalizing kind of the dates, as we speak, so I can't give you a firm date yet. But after the initial Creators Collective, we have a second collection called the Blockheads, which will be a larger PFP style collection.
Representing.
So this great artist Daryl Barnes, put together this collection, working very closely with Nate, on our Katana team, just to, get all the layering right. We're almost done with that. I would say 95%. So very excited. We'll be showing some of that upstairs today. So that's going to be kind of the base level entry point for everyone to get involved in the ETVerse. So the roadmap after that, we're going to continue to have other projects, other artists that we're going to launch from the Creators Collective. We actually are working with a 16-year-old girl who does African American anime. She's got a great story, so we're going to have a collection coming out featuring her. Always going to be continually looking for new artists to continue working with the ETVerse, or even just helping them out. And then, after that, we, plan to do a lot of in real life events, a conference, and then, the end of the road is really, E's goal, his mission is, at this point, is, to win the Nobel Prize. And, can we make Web3, can we use that technology? Can we use, the power of community that Web3 is enabling, to achieve that goal in some way, right? So that's the ultimate goal. And then the School Days Foundation, doing sort of like a School Days DAO. We don't know how, DAO exactly it'll be. Probably, it's not going to be fully on-chain, fully decentralized from day one. But, we do want to bring, help bring transparency to the nonprofit world. I think that's another, huge unlock for Web3. And we haven't seen too many people do it. I saw Kimball Musk, Elon's brother, actually was giving a talk earlier today about the Big Green DAO, and that actually sparked a lot of ideas in my head about the stuff he's experimenting with. There's a few other folks who are experimenting on the edges with Web3 and charity, but so how can the community come together to vote on what initiatives they think are going to be most impactful? How can we reward people who volunteer through token economics, to contribute to the School Days Foundation? So that's, the other big part of the roadmap. So, we have kind of really two pillars. We have the Creators Collective, which will be about, empowering entrepreneurs, humanitarians, and artists, and how the community, giving people access to folks in the network to really take advantage of that stuff, and then like the school days, the charitable component. So those are the two main pillars, and then down the line, how hopefully the community, it's really going to be up to the community at some point. Like that's the whole ethos,
right? And
can we somehow contribute to a Nobel Prize for somehow?
Fantastic. Well, I'm rooting for him. Absolutely. We should probably start to wrap up. We're going to be expecting you upstairs. But before we leave, let's pretend I'm brand new. I've never bought an NFT before. Maybe I'm even a little scared of it, but I love Eric Thomas and I love what you're doing with the ETVerse. How would you explain the ETVerse to me? Put you on the spot.
Yeah, so it's like, this is your chance to, be a owner of the Eric Thomas community, to be a member that has, a stake and that can really help drive, the mission of, Eric Thomas's message. And, that's how I, and being a part of a community in a way that, you're able to, I would say, contribute to in a way that you weren't able to in, like, I think the previous, more top-down methods. Like, E really got huge on Web 2, YouTube, Instagram, but, kind of all the, his fans were basically commoditized by, the Facebooks and Googles of the world, when they consumed his video, right? And now I think with Web3, and we're just scratching the surface on this, but, there's going to be new ways for, his fans to interact with him, interact with his content, and then contribute to the content, and then help grow, grow the community. So that's, I think, how I describe it. But it is a tough challenge describing, describing this stuff. But, we do have a lot of utility that's directly linked to the NFT. So I think that's a little bit easier. Like, it's like, okay, you buy, this Genesis Collection NFT, you're also going to get, a VIP pass to a conference, right? That's easy for people in his community. And then you buy a Blockhead collection, and then you're going to get other in real life utility from, access to exclusive content, exclusive merchandise. So I think that is like easier to explain to people initially. But, I think we want to educate people more about like the power of Web3 to really, bring communities, empower communities. Of
course, such a great mission to get behind. Jalin, any parting words for us?
For sure, just to add to what Kuntal said, which was great. I think this is a place for change agents. If you want to be a change agent, I think this is the spot for you. He mentioned YouTube and those Web 2 tools, but Web 3 Discord is kind of like the main platform now. And I just, again, introduced by them, Quintana and everybody, Dre as well, just how organized like it is. It's like a channel guide to your dreams, your goals, and I think people really can just come here to get refreshed so that they can pour into other people. So I think this is going to be for change agents, and then also you get to, like Kuntal said, you can definitely go to the conferences, experience ETs in ways you couldn't, because to his point, you can't really have those deep conversations on YouTube or Instagram or Twitter, but here this is a safe haven. So we encourage any and everybody to come in who wants to just pour in and kind of change the trajectory of how this world has been going as of recent. So definitely that's how I would explain it, but that's just it.
That's fantastic. The ETVerse is the safe haven for change agents.
There we go.
I like it.
Yeah, right on. ETVerse.io. Find the Discord links and everything there.
Yes, ETVerse. Yes. Everything is ETVerse.
Jalin, Kuntal, thanks so much for being with us today.
Really, thanks for having me.